Hi, I'm Jay. Here's a completely normal drawing of me riding a rhino into battle holding a lightsaber. Today I want to tell you a story. This is something that happened to me online. In the early days of my YouTube channel, I used to love making fun of another YouTube channel called Brooks Show. Brooks Show's whole thing was taking the ideas of other more successful YouTube creators, and that's it. That's what they did. CinemaSins exists and is wildly successful? Well, here's Brooks Show's Everything Wrong With series, in which they do exactly the same thing CinemaSins does, but worse.
You could get lost in there.
Think positive.
HIV positive.
You see, the joke is that he said HIV. And that's a disease. Toby Turner has a hit series where he narrates over trailers to say what's happening in them in a funny way.
We got one advantage this time.
What is it?
I can make my feet into a circle.
A circle? Avenger. Infinity War.
Hey, what a great series! It's called Literal Trailers. Well, here's a Brooks Show video that's definitely not an episode of that series.
This Christmas you're getting a new X-Wing.
Ooh. It's not pleasant to listen to. Couch Tomato is making list-based videos of why different movies are similar. Well, here's Brooks Show. Frankly, I don't inherently have a problem with that kind of channel. Sometimes I think rip-off channels are just kind of adorable. Like, oh, you like the thing so much that you decided to make some of it yourself. That's kind of cute in a way. Brooks Show isn't adorable though. Brooks Show is just kind of bad. It was like really bad in really obnoxious ways.
Pussy!
Now, I had a few videos making fun of this channel and its content. Here's the kind of thing I would say when I did that.
I am sorry about the fire. It's okay. It was an accident. Unless it wasn't.
You're just now thinking it wasn't a fucking accident? Come on! You should have known someone was stealing your tech when you saw that Kabuki guy. He was using it a minute ago.
Well, you've already defeated yourself with that one. Because, as you said, yeah, he just saw that a minute ago. This is the single first moment he's had without something else to worry about since he saw that. The first time he sits down to think about any of it, he works it out. How is he only working this out now? He's already seen the evidence. In fact, he literally just saw the evidence for the first time. How has he not worked this out yet? Wait, he has worked it out? Well, then why didn't he work it out even sooner?
Let's work on your moves.
Learning martial arts via software, just like the Matrix.
Are you kidding me? Baymax literally is software, essentially. This is just the way that he would learn martial arts. And him learning martial arts is a completely natural progression of the story. This isn't derivative of the Matrix, it's a natural progression of the story we already had.
Oh look, they already have their Power Rangers ripoff masks.
I always go and look in the comments of Brooks Show videos to see if anyone has pointed out the irony that he is claiming other things are ripoffs of things. And no one ever does. But come on, Brooks, are you sure that criticizing other things of being ripoffs is a road you want to go down? So that's what my content covering Brooks Show used to be like. You know what, you're probably wondering about these. Funny story behind these actually. To make this video, I had to watch a load of Brooks videos. You know, it seems like a necessary step. And in the process of doing that, I managed to cut myself on his immensely sharp brain. Which unfortunately is just an occupational hazard when making these kinds of videos. Nothing that can really be done about it. But that's what my content covering Brooks used to be like. That's the kind of thing I used to say when I covered him, and so it went on for a while, until eventually I registered that Brooks made a lot of edgy jokes.
This kid who's supposed to be a Viking is sounding a little Jewy.
We have enough bread-making Vikings.
Or a Viking who counts all your money and reinvests it into mutual funds. I bet you would be awesome at that. Damn, more horrible child actors. Come on, Lucas. You know what was one of my favorite parts about the original trilogy? No fucking kids. Or black people. That was cool until Lando ruined it.
At the time, I didn't really know how to deal with things like this, and I kind of freaked out. All of my videos used to be response videos, so at the end of each of my videos there would be a link to the video I was responding to. But I didn't feel comfortable linking to the content that Brooks made. And this wasn't simply because he made edgy jokes, it's because he also eventually abandoned the channel Brooks Show to make a new channel called No Bullshit. A more politically driven channel where he says very stupid things regularly. There are loads of good takedowns of him on YouTube if you want to check them out. Here's the kind of thing he does. This is a video called SJW Moments in Infinity War. In this video, he claims that the MCU has a suspicious amount of women in it, and then lists a load of the women in the MCU.
Black Panther earlier this year, which had a suspicious amount of female characters surrounding the Wakandan king. It didn't ruin the movie or anything. Black Panther was still amazing, but it was noticeable how many girls were in there. And there's also Wanda, and it also sees Ant-Man being joined by his female crime-fighting partner. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so.
He complains that, well,
There's also a giant midget in the movie. That's right. He's the guy from Game of Thrones, and he's also the one the Hulk goes to in the movie to have him make a new weapon to fight Thanos. And I think having midget, dwarf, little person representation is certainly something a radical leftist, pro-diversity, anti-ableist SJW would be all for.
now when it comes to edgy jokes, I believe that people should be allowed to joke about anything they want to, as long as it's done in the appropriate context. And, this is the big one, doesn't genuinely communicate a harmful sentiment. I have no problem with edgy jokes simply as a nebulous concept. I love Jimmy Carr and Frankie Boyle.
You know the kind of stuff you read about on the internet? If you ever read about sex on the internet, you'll see myths, stuff that just isn't true. The best lubricant for anal sex is not tears. It's blood.
He has much edgier jokes than that, but this is YouTube. But my point is that I have no problem with edgy jokes on their own. It's what those jokes actually communicate that matters. When Brooks makes edgy jokes, it seems like he's just going, whoa, I'm not supposed to say that, but I sure did say it, which is like the most lowbrow, lowest form of edgy joke. But it's hard to tell what the actual sentiment is when a joke like that is made. But then Brooks goes on to say things like this.
Well, are you white?
Yeah, I know that this actually will come up. Even though I'm Jewish, I do classify myself as white, yes.
So which one are you first?
That's not a normal thing to ask people, Brooks.
Had a suspicious amount of female characters.
Hearing the kinds of things he says when he's clearly being genuine makes me less enthusiastic about him, and that should go with saying that I wasn't particularly enthusiastic about him before.
Had a suspicious amount of HIV.
Back when I was finding all this stuff out, I decided to address it in a video. The video is called Let's Actually Talk About Brooks Show, and I have my problems with it. The biggest problem I have with it is that I don't use any evidence to substantiate any of the claims I make about Brooks. I released the video, nothing really came of it, and then life went on. Also, yes, that was the Brooks Show logo, just a big BS. But as I said, nothing really became of it. Until recently.
Are you familiar with JXC? JXC. JXC.
Oh, fuck-a-doodle-doo, my brethren! That's me! I'm that person, I'm JXE. Finally, after all these years. Acknowledgement. I wonder which of my videos he's going to bring up. I sure hope it's not that one where I make loads of claims about the things he believes without using any evidence. That sure would be embarrassing. I sure didn't have very good standards for making videos back then. It is that video. The context, by the way, because this might be a little bit important, is that Brooks is talking to a guy called PSA Sitch, whose work I'm not familiar with at all. Feel free to argue about whether he's the best thing ever or the worst thing ever in the comments. Brooks, after being asked the simple question, why did he go on a live stream, assumes he's being attacked and instead of answering the question, deflects.
I could say the same thing about you, like, for example, I've seen some of your other streams. Why did you stream with Mauler?
Ah, he's brought up the dreaded Longoid. As a part of his deflection, he then tries to demonize Mauler by associating Mauler with me.
He has some pretty shady people on his show. Are you familiar with JXC?
I don't know what that means.
It's a YouTuber who was also streamed with Mauler.
So there you have the context for why he was talking about me in the first place. He was saying, you asked me a simple question? Yeah? Well, you've spoken to somebody, and they've spoken to somebody that I don't like. Check fucking me. So now that after all this time he's finally acknowledging me and my hard work, what does he actually have to say about me and the things that I've said about him?
It's a YouTuber who was also streamed with Mauler.
No, I don't know who that is.
So he also streamed with Mauler, and he had an interesting video about me that he privated because of embarrassment, where he said, I don't deserve the right to speak, and some of my views are so controversial, I shouldn't have a platform. He got a lot of bad feedback about that. And I just thought, since you associated with him and his friends, do you believe in freedom of speech?
So that's it. That's the full clip. That's everything he says that's relevant to me. And oh boy, all of those were lies. Well, I am assuming they were lies. He would have to be so mind-numbingly stupid to actually believe any of that I think assuming he's lying is giving him the benefit of the doubt. But while for this video I'm going to be assuming that he's lying, because I think he probably is, bear in mind it's possible he's just really stupid. Let's start at the beginning.
So he also streamed with Mueller, and he had an interesting video about me that he privated because of embarrassment.
No, that's not true. First of all, and this is like the smallest mistake he makes, it's so small that I genuinely believe it was a mistake rather than just a big lie, is that I never privated the video. The video is unlisted. The difference being that when a video is private, no one can see it, and when a video is unlisted, anyone who has a link to it can see it. When a video is unlisted, it can also still appear in playlists and things like that. And there actually are several links to this video on my YouTube channel still, in the places that there used to be links to Brooks Show videos, to explain why there are no longer links to Brooks Show videos. But unlisted, privated, it's a very slim distinction. It starts to get a little dodgier when he says that I did it out of embarrassment.
That he privated because of embarrassment.
This is something that he made up. This isn't true. I unlisted the video, Brooks, because it's an update video in which I talk for like 2 minutes against a still picture. It's not content, but you've just decided a reason for me and gone with that. Thanks, man. In fairness though, it is a pretty bad video. If I'm gonna have my opinions about no bullshit out there, I would rather they be substantiated with evidence. Hey, that's what this is! So you know what, I probably would have unlisted that video by now anyway, but the thing he said isn't true. You know, he made it up. Because it suits his narrative. Hey, do you ever think that Brooks, like, kind of weirdly resembles a guinea pig? Those are the smaller mistakes that Brooks made. Let's move on to the bigger ones, shall we?
Privated because of embarrassment, where he said, I don't deserve the right to speak, and some of my views are so controversial, I shouldn't have a platform.
Bold claims there. Apparently I said that Brooks shouldn't have the right to speak and should be deplatformed. Well, in the first part of my video I explained why I don't like Brooks. Here's a clip. I've also started looking into his other channel, which is called No Bullshit, and finds that he spreads a huge amount of misinformation. Yeah, I don't cite any sources to back that up. I'm sure I was basing it on something at the time, but I just didn't care to mention what that was back then. Oh well. But after that, I move straight on to talking about what I think should happen to him as a result. Brace yourselves for this one, because I have a very peculiar way of phrasing the idea that he doesn't deserve the right to speak. I phrase it very strangely, actually. Here's the clip. And just says a lot of things that I personally consider to be harmful. Now, I would like to make it very clear that I do think he should be allowed to say these things. I don't want to take away his freedom of speech or prevent him from having the right to express his beliefs or even hold these beliefs. I think that he should be allowed to do all of that. I will defend his freedom of speech as I hope he would defend mine in turn. However, I don't think the things he does or says are acceptable. I've decided to completely stop linking to any of his channels in any of my videos. While I usually link to the original Sins videos that I talk about, I've decided that no, he's not getting that. He doesn't deserve that, and I don't think it would be good to give him that support. Not only am I not going to link to him when I talk about him in future, I'm also going to go back to all my old videos in which I link to him and remove the links and replacing them with links to say this video or Rick Astley's never gonna give you up. Oh my god, I censored him! I'm a pro-censorship, anti-free speech. I'm Brooks' biggest nemesis. I'm one of the censor rights. No one's going to get that reference. I could have tried to come up with a much funnier joke here, but I just didn't. I will defend his freedom of speech as I hope he would defend mine in turn.
He said, I don't deserve the right to speak, and some of my views are so controversial, I shouldn't have a platform.
So yeah, I think I made it quite clear that I wasn't saying that Brooks should have his right to speak or his platform taken away. Quite clear. And if anyone were to go and watch that video and then after having finished that video they went and talked to someone else about that video and said that I had said that he deserves to have his right to speak taken away, that what they'd be doing there is telling a big lie. And if the person who said that was to then go on and make a brand for themselves where they called themselves No Bullshit, I'd say that that would be quite disingenuous as well, because the thing he said there was distinctly bullshit. Like, a textbook definition of bullshit. But you can't say that kind of thing if you want to call yourself no bullshit. A man whose icon is a little bull doing a shit that's crossed out, as if to say, no, none of that here. Your profile picture is a lie. Petition for Brooks to change his profile picture to this. I'm not joking, by the way. I've made that petition. It's in the description. Go check the description. It's there. Sign it. Get him to do this. Together we can be the change we want to see in the world. Now, Brooks does have some other comments he made about my video, although none of them are really going to top that one where he's like, hey, you know that thing that he actually said? Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you he said the opposite of that. But here's what he goes on to say.
I shouldn't have a platform. He got a lot of bad feedback about that.
He got a lot of bad feedback about that. That's actually the last thing he says on the topic. But since we're here, that's not fucking true either! The video has a 96% like to dislike ratio, and the comments are overwhelmingly positive. I'm now going to read out some of the comments. Bear in mind that I have picked these ones specifically, but I've not cherry-picked the positive ones and left out the negative ones. I'm picking ones that seem to represent the overwhelming majority opinion. I think honestly this is the proper way to handle this situation. Personally, I think that's a good call. Really appreciate you talking about this respectfully and seeing both sides. This is exactly how you should handle this. Well done. You handled this very maturely. I respect you for that. I agree with everything you've said in this video.
He got a lot of bad feedback about that. And okay. I just thought, since you associated with him and his friends, do you believe in freedom of speech?
Yeah, Sitch, since you've streamed with someone else who's also streamed with someone else who's said nothing against free speech or that concept, do you believe in free speech? You really got him on the fucking ropes here, Brooks. So let's sum up. Brooks thinks that I'm so embarrassed about all of the negative feedback that I didn't receive for the things that I never said, that I privated this video. Man, what an idiot. Like, he's trying really hard to make me look bad. You can tell. He paints a narrative where I just attacked his rights. And then everyone was like, no, Jay, stop. You're evil. And then I went, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. I won't target your free speech again, Brooks. I'm so sorry. That's not what really happened, is it? So, why is that what you told people happened, Brooks?
Pretty desperate. Very cringy.
I can't wait for 2 years from now when he finally decides to respond to this video by claiming that I don't know what he'll claim I said, but it won't be the truth because that would make him look bad. So, that's it for the day. You know what I'm fucking desperate to do is take these off. That hurt, actually. But, yeah. I don't want these on my face anymore. It was a funny joke. Alright, maybe this was a mistake, actually. Oh, okay, no, it just peels around the back. Now I can't see. It's been really annoying having these on my face the whole time for that, let's be honest, mediocre joke that I made at the beginning about it. But I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's a bit of a strange one. But other than that, a goodbye. And the sin total is 32 sins, and the punishment will be no more freedom of speech. Woo! I'm here to take away your rights.